Hi guys, today I want to take the opportunity to talk to you guys about something that I have personally been asked a lot about lately, and that's sponsor pages. Just tips on maybe how to acquire them or how to kind of promote them a little better. So I'm gonna give you guys tips that I personally go by and that have helped me a lot with my sponsor pages. Um, so I have a bit of a process, and what I do is I always identify potential sponsors. So I always start by looking at, local businesses or people I know that are starting their own small business, whether that be photographers or boutiques or people who do maybe craft sales online. Um, I also want to let you know that I never exclude my family and friends. So we all have family and friends that run their own businesses or are trying to do like a side hustle. Or me personally, I have a cousin that's in hairstyling and she's gone to school for it. So things like that, because these are always a great opportunity for people who are looking to get their business out there. That being said, there's also friends and family who want to support you just because they want to. It doesn't have to be a business. So don't ever exclude or feel nervous to ask your friends and family, because I know me personally, a lot of my sponsors have come from friends and family because they just want to support me and they're proud of me. So always be sure to keep that open and maybe start with a list at home on potential people you can ask. The next thing that I want to kind of throw out there is creating a proposal. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be on paper, it could just be something you say when you do talk to people. But it's always great to know like a few quick key points that you want to target, because they don't want an hour long kind of example on why you want them as a sponsor. They just kind of want it to get to the point, but they want the information that is important to know, if that makes sense. So for me, always explain the benefits of them being a sponsor. So for example, with the system that I'm with, they have the opportunity to have their business card on the sponsor page, which gives them free advertising pretty much. Like it gives them the advertisement. It gives them the opportunity for people who wouldn't normally know about their business or maybe looking but don't know where to look to see their business card and get a hold of them and inquire about their services. Um, the other thing I want to bring up is mention the different packages. So depending on what system you're with, there's always different packages. For example, the system I'm with, you can do a full page for this much, or you can do half a page, or you can do a quarter of a page. Make sure that you always kind of express that. For me, I always kind of start with the full page because obviously that's ideal. But I make sure to kind of read the room and explain too. If it seems like I'm losing their interest a little bit, I do mention that, look, hey, we can do half a page even. Your business card will still get put on there. You still get that same advertising, or it allows family and friends to kind of go in on it. I had a page last year where a few friends got together and did a page for me, which was amazing, and I'm so thankful for them. I also want to bring up that we live in an age of social media. That being said, never be nervous or ashamed to look for sponsor pages through social media. Post it on your Facebook, your Instagram, for a couple of reasons. One, it may get people's attention that you didn't necessarily think would sponsor. It could get family and friends that are further away. It really could attract people who, again, you don't necessarily think are going to reach out to sponsor you, or you didn't think to reach out to, and then they reach out to you. It's proven to be very helpful for me. And the other thing is with social media is, if we're going to live in a day and age and a generation where there's so much social media influence and people depend on it so much, use it. Some pageant systems, like the one I'm with, actually have a letter that you can post if you're doing something like sponsor pages. And it's really nice and helpful because it gives you something to put out there when you don't necessarily know what to say. So, social media in today's day and age is so huge that honestly, there's no point in not using it. And like I said before, you may think of 5 people to ask. There might be another 2, 3, 5, 10 family or friends or somebody who's thinking about doing their own business, but they're having a hard time getting it up, who's on your Facebook, for example, and they're going to reach out to you because they want to do it. So that's always a good kind of area to start, I feel. If this isn't your first year competing, keep in mind people who have sponsored you before. Don't be ashamed to ask them, because especially with me, I've found in the past, like, some people do repeat sponsor the next year. Another thing that I want to mention, and it's my last tip of advice, is I like to have a quote unquote gift. So it's not necessarily a gift, it can be a keychain, a sucker, I don't know. But me personally, I do notes. So, like, I will write somebody a note, and I will hand it to them after they've sponsored me, and it just says thank you for sponsoring me, and pretty much just a nice little blurb showing your appreciation. Because, you know, if somebody's got that faith and they're proud in you and they want to sponsor you, whether it's a business, a family, or a friend, they want to know that you appreciate that. So that's always a good thing to do, just to be a kind human being and kind of return the favor. Also explain their benefits, because they're getting the exposure, the family and friends are getting to help you, everybody all around is benefiting. So explain, you know, what the sponsorship is going to help you achieve in your pageant system, because if they're going to help you, they want to know why. So I hope all that helps. And if you have any other questions, feel free to comment, or for those who have my personal information, message me directly. And I will see you at our next video.